What's up guys, Dr. Ray here, back with another video, and today we're going to get into another topic on yield farming. Before we get into it guys, if you like the video, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and listen, like I always say guys, if you want the most up-to-date information, make sure you follow my Telegram announcement channel, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram, because that's where I'm dropping things the quickest. YouTube, things are a bit delayed, and you know, if you just want up-to-date information, you got to follow me on those other networks, okay? Alright, so let's get into it. So look, if you guys are into the yield farming scene, you probably have noticed that Iron Finance had a ton of trouble in the last couple days, and really the entire platform has collapsed. And I think it's a good opportunity for us to do a post-mortem analysis on Iron Finance, because look, I've talked about this farm before, I've had videos on this farm before, and I think it's a good example why at the end of the day, you, one, really need to know what you're doing when it comes to managing your money in crypto, and two, it's a good example of why no matter how much you plan, no matter how much you think you know, you don't know everything that's going on, okay? And Iron Finance is a good example of that, okay? So at the end of the day, the way it works in crypto is things are great until they're not great, right? You know, and the lure of high yields and the lure of being able to make a ton of money can make a lot of people make poor decisions, okay? So like I said in my last video when we were talking about Iron Finance, you know, there's no guarantees in this industry, right? In the world of DeFi and the world of crypto, a lot of things are experimental, right? And the good part and the bad part of it is people who are, you know, non-sophisticated investors can, you know, literally have no restraints in terms of where they can put their money, how they can use their money, and sometimes you get blown up, right? And that's why it's critical, why I always say it's critical, is you need to be able to manage your portfolio, you need to be able to control yourself, you need to treat this as investing, not gambling. What that means is you need to do as much research as you possibly can before you enter a position, especially a new farm, especially an algorithmic coin or a fractionalized coin or anything that's doing things, you know, out of the norm, right? And that's definitely the case with Iron Finance, right? This is not a regular farm. And what I mean by regular farm, you know, this is not a farm where you're taking, say, Ethereum and matic and pairing it together and putting it in a farm to gain yield, right? You know, this is fringe stuff, right? This is, they're doing things like with, you know, fractionalizing a made-up stablecoin in order to see if it works, right? And so the gains are going to be higher in those circumstances, but the risks are higher as well, right? So what happened to Iron? Okay, so basically Iron, like we talked about before, is the way their system worked is they were trying to collateralize. Okay, it's not gonna load, give me a second. So like I was saying, they're trying to create this Iron token and collateralize it, and they're collateralizing it by storing USDC in their smart contract and then buffering that difference between how much USDC they have and how much they don't have with Titan, which is their coin. So how are they doing that? Well, they store a certain amount of USDC in their contract, right? Whatever percent they can manage to store, and then the balance of that they use Titan, which they mint or burn to kind of make up the difference, right? So that means that Titan has to have a dollar value associated with it, right? So the issue is that this is a made-up coin. Titan is a made-up coin, right? So it's a coin that they're effectively minting, right? They can't mint USDC because USDC is USDC, right? They can mint Iron, but Iron is supposed to hold a peg, and they can mint Titan, right? So you see where the issue can happen is Titan is supposed to hold a dollar value. Well, what if Titan doesn't hold a dollar value? Or what if the market doesn't want it to hold a dollar value? Well, at some point this system collapses, and that's exactly what happened, right? So at the end of the day, we don't know 100% what happened behind the scenes. We just know what they're telling us, right? And what they're telling us is that their systems failed, and basically what happened is Iron lost its peg because by market forces just simply dictated that they, you know, whales or whoever just didn't want Iron anymore. And so what happened is when you have sell pressure on an asset, what happens? Well, when you have lots of sell pressure on an asset, the price drops. So Iron lost its peg, right? So Iron lost its peg, and the unfortunate reality with these things is sometimes you get a domino effect. So when one whale sells, lots of whales sell, right? And what can happen is a large downward pressure on the price of both Titan and iron, right? Which caused, so at the end of the day, iron lost its peg, right? So their mechanisms to try and reboost it to its peg kicked in. Well, what are those mechanisms? Well, those mechanisms involve the minting of Titan, right? And what happens when you mint Titan? The price of Titan drops. And what happens when the price of Titan drops? People can freak out and they dump their Titan. And so you get this domino effect. And when you have a farm which has gone from, a moderate TVL to an insane amount of TVL in the span of, say, a few days or a week, well, when you have parabolic growth, you can have a sudden cliff down, right? And that's the sad reality of what's happened here is eventually they were just simply not able to hold their peg, right? And so if you can't hold your peg, well, then your entire project is worthless, right? And that's effectively what they stated today, is that that they have no way to really bring iron back to its peg, so the project is effectively dead, right? And I think it's a good thing to talk about this, because there's a lot of people that I know that got blown up. They lost a lot of money. Okay, why'd they lose a lot of money? Okay, well, the first thing is they're buying at the top, okay, or they're entering a farm late. So if Titan went from, I don't know how low it was, I think at one point it was like 80 cents. If Titan went as low as 80 cents and now it's $60 in the course of a month, do you really think it's a smart idea to be buying at 60? Absolutely not. Was it a smart idea to buy at 50 or 40 or 30 or 20 and then take profit? In my opinion, no, it wasn't, because this thing went parabolic from 80 cents all the way up, right? So was I personally buying Titan at $5 or $10 or $20? No, I wasn't, because if you don't get in at the bottom, there's no point getting in at all, right? Especially when it comes to these experimental farms. Why? Because it's too risky. Sure, you can get in, and if you're watching it closely and you have your eyes on the chart 24/7, sure, okay, maybe in those circumstances you can get in, you can watch the prices go up, and then you can flip it, okay? But you have to be doing this full time. And what we have to remember is, so the vast majority of people are not doing crypto full time, right? They're looking for somewhere where they can put their money in, and then they can go, do the rest of their day, right? Which you can't do with these farms, right? It's dangerous. You can't buy into an experimental farm like this and then just walk away, because this thing could collapse at any moment, right? And so, iron finance and its collapse, I'd say, at the end of the day, there's really no point, in my opinion, in asking the questions of why did this collapse, because it's irrelevant. The main question you should be asking, if you lost money in this, is where did you go wrong, right? Because in my opinion, it is a waste of time for people to look at these farms, blame the dev, blame hackers, blame rug pulls, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, right? That's not going to get your money back. If you're going to ask those questions in the context of basically coming to an answer, to the reason of where you screwed up. Because if you lost money, at the end of the day, you're the one that screwed up, right? And if you lost a lot of money, then you really screwed up, right? And there's an issue there in terms of your portfolio management, right? So when it comes to an experimental farm like this, you shouldn't have more than, say, 5%. Even that's a crazy amount. Like if you have 5% of your total assets in a degen farm like this, that's just asking for trouble, right? If you have 1% or 2% of your total crypto assets in a degen farm like this, okay, maybe that's more acceptable, right? The vast majority of your funds need to be stored in safe assets, okay? And when I say safe assets, even then, nothing is safe in crypto, right? But things like Bitcoin or Ethereum, or owning matic itself are safer assets, right? And really that's what I want to focus the video on, because it's pointless for people to really complain about why did this blow up, the devs did this to us, or it's their fault. No, at the end of the day, if you lost 50k or 100k, it's your fault, because you put too much money in a silly farm, you didn't take profits, and that's just the reality. And the quicker you can come to understanding that, the better off you're going to be in crypto. because if you don't understand that, it's gonna happen again and again and again and again to you. Okay, so let's end the video off just looking at some of the actual places you can probably look at farming in Matic now that Iron Finance is effectively dead. Okay, so I'm gonna really go over 3 places that I think are probably better options at this point, since Iron Finance is dead, since it's gone. So the first is, I've talked about this place before, but I'm going to keep talking about it, and the reality is there's not much else to say when it comes to Matic. There's really not many options. Okay, most of the farms in Matic suck, okay, or they're degen farms. I saw some new farm today and you had to pay a 4% deposit fee. These farms are crap. Okay, we want good solid farms, and so yes, while Polycat is, there's some of their pools are 4%, we're not interested in these, right? We're interested in places like vaults, right? So vaults, places where you can take good pairs, things like we'll come down here, FUSDC, BTCF, F matic, they have matic quick. I don't really like that pair, but good strong pairs, right, where you're holding Ethereum and matic. You're holding good coins and you're pairing them together, and you can stake them and you can earn 0.17% a day. So yes, this is not the 1% plus that you're making in something like Iron Finance, but here your main risk is the price of Ethereum and matic, and then obviously smart contract risk, right? So another good place, Walt. So Walt, basically the same concept as Polycat, right? So we actually want to see the Polygon version of it, but it's more or less the same thing. So you're going to find good pairs on this platform, Ethmatic, Link Eth, similar story. You're not going to find high APRs, but you're going to find good, solid farm that has long-standing reputation. Again, that doesn't mean things can't go wrong, right? Because Iron Finance was out for a very long time, and look what happened to them, right? So again, it's all about risk management. It's all about not having all your eggs in one basket, having your assets in different places, right? I would never just say like, oh, just put all your money in Walt, they're great. No, that's silly, right? Aave. So Aave is on Matic, another great option for just depositing your funds, right? So maybe you just have a bunch of Matic and you're just looking at storing it. The APRs are not that great. We're looking at only 2.4% plus 0.67% per year. I mean, really, really low. But if you're just looking for a place to park some assets in the meantime, you don't know where else to put them, obviously a reasonable place. But again, smart contract risk is always going to be a risk, right? And that's and again, people need to understand that this is not zero risk, right? Even if the project is solid, even if the project is amazing, right, you're always going to have that underlying smart contract risk. And what that means is the smart contract could be exploited. Someone could hack it. Something could go wrong. There could be some programming error. They could, they may be using an oracle to, get their price data from. There could be an error or mistake in that. There's so many things that can go wrong. And so at the end of the day, every single bit of amount of money that you put into crypto, there's a chance that it could be gone tomorrow. That is just the reality, okay? So you have to understand that. So look, guys, that's all I have really to say for today. Some take-home points. Not really much new stuff to go over today. I think starting in my next video, we're gonna kind of branch out from this. We're gonna stop talking about Polygon for a bit because really there's not much going on. If there's some brand new farms that are coming in here, I'll show you guys. But otherwise, I think we're gonna start focusing on some of the other chains. Maybe we're gonna take a look at some of the other farms on Binance Chain. We'll probably do some reviews of some tokens, some recent tokens that I've been investing in. But look, guys, again, like I always say, if you want the most up-to-date information, follow me on Telegram, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. That's really where I'm going to drop, little tidbits like, hey, this new coin's coming out, there's a pre-sale for this, this new farm is launching. That's really where you're going to get the most up-to-date information. YouTube, just based, because of the format of YouTube, it's better for more or less just reviewing things or updating you guys on things, on a daily basis or, every couple days. And so if you want the quickest information, the most up-to-date information, and the hottest tips and information, follow me on those other channels, okay? And please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I really appreciate it. It really tells me what sort of content you guys like. I'll take it from there. See ya.